I'm Justin Lesko, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt and former pro MMA fighter.
And I'm Mike Callahan, a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu brown belt and a law enforcement officer.
In the last few days, we've seen two instances where the BJJ community has overwhelmingly agreed that we're done with two separate things.
So, one scumbag person that we're going to talk about, and one scumbag company that we're going to talk about. So that was weird, but it's one scumbag person and one scumbag company. Not, you get it.
We get it. Should we collectively be banning Erberth Santos, and should we be canceling EliteSports Company?
So I have some thoughts, we have some thoughts, but what's the opposite of like a cancel culture? What's the opposite of that?
Celebrate, promote, love.
Yeah. All of those work. Yeah. So that's essentially how we feel about Epic Roll.
Epic Roll BJJ is a jiu-jitsu lifestyle brand with the goal of connecting the jiu-jitsu community while also helping you look your best both on and off the mats.
So give them a follow on Instagram. You can find them at Epic Roll BJJ, or you can visit their website at www.epicrollbjj.com. You can go on there. You'll be able to find rash guards, gis, shirts, shorts, anything that you need. Just go to their site, check it out. They got it.
And if you use the code podcast15, you can get 15% off your order. Now, let's get into it.
Welcome to That Jiu Jitsu Podcast.
Do you want to talk about canceling Erberth Santos first, or do you want to talk about a shady gi company first?
Why don't you put them behind like door A and door B, and I'll just pick a door and you choose.
All right.
Okay.
I'll hold the hand up, left or right.
All right. Left hand.
All right. Left hand was Erberth Santos, so we'll go with him first.
Yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah. So for context,
he's a fucking piece of shit.
For context, he's a piece of shit. But this beef stems from him and Gordon Ryan. Once again, Gordon Ryan's sort of the center of controversy, but Gordon sort of started it. He posted a video that Erberth had posted of his like kid on top of a refrigerator who was like afraid to jump into his hands, and Gordon like meme captioned it about people who talk shit on Instagram but then don't want to compete. So not necessarily making fun of his kid at all. I still think you shouldn't put people's family or kids in memes personally. So then Erberth Santos posts a picture mocking Gordon Ryan's recently deceased father who died like 2-3 months ago, which is
right. So two trains of thought here. Number one, you shouldn't post anything. Gordon was wrong for doing that. There was nothing to indicate that it was. He didn't go after Erberth's daughter. It was just. It was a shot below the belt, but it wasn't. That fucking idiot Erberth then goes and post. You said a picture mocking Gordon Ryan's dead father. It was a picture of Gordon Ryan's dead father. Also, Erberth has been saying for months about Gordon Ryan's girlfriend, how, I don't know, apparently there was something that went on between her and Lucas Barbosa like way back when, but like how Erberth was going to like rape her or something. Like, this dude is just a fucking Neanderthal.
But even so, that's all stuff off the mat. We've seen Erberth on the mat fake an injury to get out of his match with Felipe Pena. And, how dare I claim that someone would fake an injury? Well, he got up and ran across the mat to jump into the crowd and start a fight about 10 seconds after complaining that his knee was injured because someone in the crowd was taunting him. We also saw him potentially pee his pants to get out of a match. Some people have said that it was just sweat, but I'll put a picture up on the screen. You can decide for yourself. And we've seen him in that same match, the potential P match, where he just lays down and gives up because I guess he doesn't feel like grappling anymore. So it's not like this dude's got amazing jiu-jitsu. Obviously, he does have good jiu-jitsu, but he's not got amazing jiu-jitsu that it's worth putting up with all this bullshit off the mat. So now, after this whole thing with Gordon's dad, all I can see on Instagram and Reddit and Twitter is basically just like ban Erberth Santos from ever competing again or have promoters stop putting him on shows. And I find it hard to disagree with that sentiment.
Yeah, and if you can say that one of the options here to resolve the conflict is to have these two meet in a match, but that's not going to resolve anything, because if it is a jiu-jitsu match and it's follows the rules of a jiu-jitsu match, then Erberth doesn't stand a chance and Gordon will fucking destroy him, right? We're in agreement on that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But more so, I think that he is such a loose cannon that you will have the result of the Cyborg Gordon match at, I think it was No-Gi Worlds a couple years ago, when Cyborg was like smacking him on the head and like grabbing his fingers and bending his fingers back and eventually got disqualified. I think that will be tenfold. Like, I think that you'll have Erberth throwing punches. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
there's no need to even go down that road, you know?
I mean, and that's even if Erberth shows up, because that's sort of the reason Gordon posted the meme that, again, he shouldn't have posted a meme with someone else's kid in it. You
Right.
just shouldn't. You just shouldn't. But Erberth is known to take fights and then pull out, take fights, pull out. He did it with Mikey Musumeci, like, I want to say 2 or 3 times. Why would we want to put up with this bullshit in our sport for a guy who, when he does compete, might not take it seriously, might fake an injury to get out of it, might piss his pants on purpose to get out of a match? Like,
Yeah, he was. There was a time when. So do you remember years ago? It was like 2012 when Lloyd Irvin was doing that like video blog. It was like one of the first video blogs out there. It was like the Next World Champion video blog,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it was
yeah.
with Keenan and JT, and I'm trying to think. I think Tim Spriggs was in there for a little bit. There was a bunch of them. It was when they were all living in that house. So then after Lloyd Irvin and those guys left Lloyd Irvin, he did a second like group, and in that group was like, it was Tim Spriggs because he stuck with him, but it was Muhammad Ali, it was Erberth, um, Sajara Eubanks, Najee Easton, like those, like, and Erberth was a killer. Like, he was a brown belt world champ. You know what I mean? So, and he like exploded onto the black belt scene. Like, people were, but I think he's just, I don't think he has the mental fortitude. And this is just an objective view on things. If he fights Gordon Ryan, Gordon Ryan's gonna fucking destroy him.
Yeah. And
Destroy him.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't think that fight ever gets made.
No,
But
unless it's at like an IBJJF or something.
and I don't think that the the campaign to ban Erberth Santos is going to be successful. I mean, still let Lloyd Irvin into places, and we've
Right,
talked
but
about the Lloyd Irvin pass, and that, I mean, you could make the argument in MMA too. You see guys like Greg Hardy, John Jones, people still getting fights, people still having a job based on it being shitty people.
Herbert Santos, who the fuck is he? You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, he's fucking nobody. This was one of the most ruthless, not ruthless, just one of the most scummy low blows that you could do. I
Yeah.
don't know why Gordon Ryan and his family posted those pictures. Like, I know that like his dad was a I know that his dad was very well liked, and he was like a I don't know, like a fixture in the BJJ community. I don't know why they would post those pictures on there,
But it doesn't
especially
really
when.
matter why they posted those pictures, because they were their pictures and their family member to do
Right,
what
but
they
you
needed to do at a time when they're going through something. Like, doesn't matter
I
if it's
yeah,
weird or not, you still shouldn't do what Santos did. But
exactly. But and you're 100% right. That's the what I was saying was just, with the amount of nut jobs out there on the internet now, and with the amount of people out there that Gordon just openly feuds with. Can you say, are you honestly shocked that those photos surfaced in a negative light by somebody else? Like, because I'm not. And again, it's this isn't me this is not Gordon Ryan's fault. It's not his family's fault. This is just one fucking scumbag being a piece of shit and posting these pictures.
Yeah, and Gordon sort of leaned into it a little bit where he was like mocking Erberth Santos for doing that, mocking him for posting something about his girlfriend and then deleting it. Like Gordon seemed to be rolling with it as opposed to like
Yeah,
I'm gonna fucking kill you reaction,
like
which I think would be a justified reaction.
Reasonable reaction. And then
Right.
Erberth blocked Gordon Ryan on
Yeah, I saw that too.
because he was
So
posting these pictures about his girlfriend, about Gordon's girlfriend, and apparently like they were getting more follows and everything, and they're apparently getting ready to release an OnlyFans account. It was just it's fucking crazy. So yeah, he's a scumbag. Anybody who disagrees with that, you're a scumbag. You know, I just
should promoters still put him on their shows? If you're running
I
another
mean,
promotion, would you put him on your show? If he was fighting anyone but Gordon Ryan, like yeah, if he's fighting Gordon Ryan, I want to see that on a show. But should he still get matches?
I'll be surprised, like just given Gordon's relationship with these guys at Flow Grappling, and I'd be surprised if Erberth got a match on Flow Grappling.
Yeah,
And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. And maybe Gordon's like, who fucking cares, you know?
yeah. I mean,
Um,
it's not for us to determine what Gordon's reaction is or should be. And I'm sure that there will be people who defend Erberth by saying it's Gordon Ryan. He does this. I mean, we've talked about him acting like a child on Instagram. Like, it's not a secret that he's who he is. He's not the most wholesome, family friendly dude.
no,
So
he's
I'm sure that will
not.
be the defense, but you shouldn't do that. And I don't necessarily subscribe to if anyone does one thing wrong, they should not get matches or they should lose their job.
Right.
But let's look at the track record of the person we're talking about. This isn't just like a one-off thing. It's a person who, even if you are a person who could defend all the things he does off the mat, you see the shit he does on the mat too. So why would you still like want to be a fan of that guy? I don't know. He's not
I
coming
agree.
on our show anytime soon after this episode, I'm sure. So I guess we could just
Yeah,
say what we
I
really
mean,
feel.
yeah. I mean, this podcast is just gaining popularity by the second, too. So, I mean, I'm sure he would love to come on here. He'd probably agree to come on here and then fucking quit right before.
He would. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, Justin wants to leave it at that. So when he does find out, like when he does track us down, Justin's going to be like, "Mike was the loudmouth. Mike was the loudmouth." Justin's just going to have all these sound bites of just me saying all this shit, and I'm going to be like, "I'm pretty sure that there was other dialogue coming from Justin that painted you in a negative light." But then,
Once again, it's good to be the editor. So the other incident, which we actually have a connection to,
right,
is the current movement to ban EliteSports. And if you're not familiar with EliteSports, EliteSports Company is a gi, MMA, no gi manufacturer. They're actually like, if you search on Amazon for a BJJ gi, like they're one of the top results. Like they're a cheaper brand, but that's just who they are. So I'll tell you our side story, our connection in a minute. But basically, what's happened in the last week or so is a bunch of Instagram accounts for jiu-jitsu, like meme accounts and jiu-jitsu influencer type accounts, are all posting screenshots of messages from the EliteSports, I guess sales rep would be the title, basically saying we want to run a contest on your page. The Instagram person runs the contest, and then EliteSports doesn't send the prizes to the winner, and then starts posting like the winner you picked doesn't have enough followers, and changing the number constantly, and just
right.
refusing to send all this shit out. So
I mean, it's
scumbag
bad.
company.
It's bad. It's not as bad as that fucking piece of shit DJ Mackey down in Tennessee with Endo Athletics, who just blatantly takes people's money. One day I'm going to get drunk, you scumbag, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to get drunk. I'm going to get Justin drunk, and I'm going to make him forget to edit out the part of me calling you a scumbag. But anyway, this is along
I left it
those
in last
lines.
episode. Last time you talked about him, I left it in.
Yeah, yeah. So leave this in too. So they're not necessarily stealing people's money, but what they're doing it's it's just it's a scumbag move.
So before we even started this podcast, not this episode, just the show in general, they reached out to me personally about promoting them. And if you've been following my Instagram for a long time, you know about this time about a year ago, I posted a few things for EliteSports.
Yep.
They had reached out about like a normal sort of influencer thing. We'll send you some equipment. We'll give you a coupon code. If you can post a few things, use the coupon code. It's standard practice. Everyone in the world knows how paid advertisement goes on Instagram. So they send me a rash guard, they send me shorts. Actually weren't bad stuff. I didn't like, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. I won't post something if I think it's bad, and I won't promote something if I think it's bad. All of a sudden, the messages start changing from the person I was talking to a year ago, where originally it was like they wanted me to post like twice a month on my Instagram feed and tag them, obviously. And then it started changing into like, hey, can you actually, I think he actually said, I misspoke. Can you post once a week and then also once on your story? And then he was like, oh, can you take like 3 or 4 like promo shots and send them to us? And then my response to that was, I'm really producing a lot of content for you for a free rash guard and free shorts. Like that's a lot of stuff I'm giving you for not so
Right.
much
Yeah.
stuff.
Normally, and I mean, for those of you who aren't familiar with the way it works, there's monetary, tiers too. So what he's explaining, not only were they going back on it, but they were exceeding, or they wanted to exceed what would be considered reasonable by anyone who's done this. Anybody who's done this, this wouldn't be reasonable. So go ahead.
I basically said that to them, and they were like, okay, well, like the coupon code, and you can make more for. So I was like, all right, it's really not a big deal. 3 pictures, here you go. Like, it's not a huge deal. I'm a reasonable person. What the abundant stop to me posting and tagging for them was someone I know bought stuff from them, used my coupon code, and that company never told me that. That company never sent me the money. They never sent me the percentage. This was a confirmed purchase. It wasn't like someone saying like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy some stuff. Like I saw the stuff they bought. That voids our contract in my opinion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That was about a year ago. Pandemic happens, whatever. Fast forward. So Mike and I both have access to the Instagram account for this show now. And a message comes through from EliteSports. And first of all, I notice it has to be a different person than the person I talked to, because a lot of words were spelled wrong that weren't spelled wrong last time. There was no capitalization or punctuation. And the person I spoke to like seemed to have half a brain. So,
and also there's a lot of pluralizations on words that shouldn't be pluralized,
like I'll send you gears. Like, yeah, it was
gears.
just,
Yeah.
So they said the same thing to us that I said a minute ago, where it was like, we want to run a contest on your page, da 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 da. So I said, absolutely, we just need to know more details. Because again, Mike and I both will not promote something if we don't believe in it. I'm not gonna post just anyone who gives me $100 to post for them. Like, it doesn't work that way. The guy's being real cagey. Like, he won't tell me the details of the contest. He won't. And so then I'm saying, what can you send to us? He wants us to do a shout out video for them and like a thank you post for them before he sends us anything to promote. He wants it first. That's again not how it works. Like,
hard pass. Hard pass on
hard
that
pass.
one.
So basically we go back and forth a few times, and he says something about the contest or how he's going to send us free gears. And again, I say, once we get the stuff, we'll post about it. We'll do the contest on our page. And that was the last message, because I kept pushing him on sending us the stuff first. This was, I want to say this was like maybe a month, 2 months ago. It was before this whole ban EliteSports thing took off in the last couple of days. Then I start seeing all these people post that I guess posted this contest on their page. I'm glad that we didn't, but like, what did you think was going to happen if you're this guy from EliteSports? Did you think that no one would post about you not sending any winners any equipment ever? Like, what was your end game here? What was the play?
Yeah, the whole thing kind of seemed shady from the start, and just through our contacts on social media, we were able to see that people were actually taking part in this contest. So, in a way, that legitimized it for us a little bit, but there were still red flags based on our experience with this company.
Yeah, I'm not posting for you for
Right.
free when you can't tell me the details of the contest. You can't tell me what you're going to send me. You can't tell me what the winner gets. I'm just not.
At the same time, you have people out there trying to grow a brand, whether it's a podcast, whether it's another, influencer, or so when this guy reaches out and says, before I give you any details, you have to follow and post something about us. There's going to be people there that say, okay, and just if I don't know, 50 people did that. That's a lot of advertising. It might not sound like it's a lot, but that is a lot of advertising for doing fucking nothing. There's something to be said about that. Is that it's completely unethical. At the same time, is it a way to push your product? Yes. Is it a scumbag way to push your product? Yes. There should be an agreement in place before any of this happens, and it is. And I'm not, the majority of our advertising, and we won't get into specifics about the products that we push, but Justin handles the majority of that. But what he said is 100% true. You're not going to see anything on this show that A, is an inferior product, or B, is coming from shady places, shady accounts, shady businesses.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame. Hopefully this catches on. This whole Here's the other thing too. They're now, if you go to their page, and we'll put their page on.
I'm not going to put their page on because I don't want to give them any extra. If you want to look for
Yeah.
Elite Sports Company, you can find it on Instagram.
But
Or you can just look at
but keep this in mind. If you go to their page, you're not going to find any negative comments about it because they
scrubs it.
scrubbed it. They've taken all negative comments off their feed. It seems like they have somebody monitoring this, and it's up to the minute with they won't let any negative comments on there.
Like what you see on Instagram right now, like this whole sort of movement to get them banned and everything, is pages are posting screenshots of conversations that are mirror images of the conversations that I described with this person. It's not like people got buyer's remorse and
Right.
didn't get what they paid for. It's the same scam that's being run over and over. And like Mike said, like if you hear us doing an ad for someone, or you see us promoting someone, it's because we do a lot of research in the people we work with. We get solicited a lot from people who want us to promote stuff. If you've been following like my personal Instagram, I've promoted Always Be Choking Gis for a long time. When I first started working with them, I look at their history. I notice that they're a veteran-owned company. I see they have great reviews. He sent me product to try before I even posted anything. It's good product. I love their gis. And they don't even pay me. He just sends me gis to wear, but I wouldn't promote them if they were bad gis.
Right,
I wouldn't
yeah.
promote gis that were shitty because I just wanted free gis. And I'm not going to name any names because we're not trying to ban every company that we don't work with, but there's been people who've sent me stuff that sucks and I won't promote it. There's been people who've reached out to this show about promoting stuff, and you look at the reviews and you look at the experiences people had and it's negative. I don't want to be associated with that. Do I think that they should hard pass? Do I think that they should get banned and lose their company forever? I would say no.
No. Yeah. And here's another thing. Having an inferior product is having an inferior product, but having an ethical business model is fine because there's a chance that you can improve the quality of your product, right?
Yeah,
Even if you have a great
absolutely.
product, but you have an unethical business model, you're done. You're done. No one should associate with you because regardless of the quality of the product, the unethical business model is what's going to carry the day. And it's always going to be prevalent, and you just don't want to deal with that. But if you have a shitty product and, you're working on improving the product, but you have an ethical business model, and you're dealing with people on the up and up, and I don't have any problem with that. We're not going to push a product if it's shit, but call us when your product gets better, I guess.
Yeah. And I don't think that Elite Sports should be like banned forever. I think that the sales rep that works for them should probably not work for them anymore. And
yeah, I don't think that this is I don't think that this is something where wherever this is anywhere in the United States. So,
well, like the issue with them is that if you do look at their Instagram, you do look at their website, it does have an air of legitimacy. I mean, as recently as December 2020, they had promotional photos with Mackenzie Dern in them. Like they don't look like a shitty company. They look like a reputable company. So if you're like what you said a few minutes ago, if you're trying to build a brand and a seemingly reputable company that Mackenzie Dern works with reaches out to you to do a contest, you might not ask certain questions if you're excited to work with a company that looks legit. It just sucks that like this could be a good brand, but you got one guy now who pissed off the entirety of the BJJ meme universe on Instagram and probably is not going to recover.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, and what's the option for them is to ditch the Elite Sports name and throw another logo, and then hopefully people forget about it and don't dig too far into the history of the company. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I'm glad that like attention is being raised to an issue, and I'm sort of glad to see like this meme army coming together of we all are getting screwed by this company. And what they could do is you could say we had a sales rep who went against the values of the company. We're sending out information to all of the winners of this contest. We apologize moving forward, but it's just been radio silence from them so far. And sort of like Erberth Santos making his Instagram private and unfollowing and blocking Gordon Ryan. You're not really addressing the issue here as to why people like. I'm not a big believer in cancel culture, but this is the reason that people. It's just easier to be done with someone and just get him out of here.
Yeah. I hope that's what happens to this company.
If you had to get rid of one and not the other, who do you get rid of? Erberth Santos or Elite Sports Company?
I would get rid of the clothing company. And the reason being is because Erberth's not doing anything. Like, he's not going to win any world championships going forward. Like, he's just going to fade off anyway into complete irrelevancy, So I'm okay with that.
Maybe we should put them together and he can have a new sponsor.
Yeah.
Get Elite Sports to sponsor Erberth Santos.
If you want, let them sponsor him. That'll sink that ship real fucking quick. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. So we put links to our social media accounts below. So if you want to follow us individually or follow the show, just give the link a click, check it out. Also, make sure that you guys are subscribed to our YouTube page. We have some special guests coming onto the show in the next couple of weeks that we're really stoked about. So once those interviews are done, we'll be posting them to the YouTube page as well.
If you enjoyed this episode, please give it a big thumbs up. I'll link below to Epic Roll's Instagram account at EpicRollBJJ, and you can check them out at their website, www. I'm not going to say www like Mike. You can check them out at their website, epicrollbjj.com, and use the coupon code podcast15 to get 15% off your order. Say, don't pee your pants.
Don't pee your pants. Don't fake pee in your pants. Don't pee your pants for real, but don't fake pee in your pants to get out of a match.
All good advice. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.